Okay, welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Rikon Mini Lathe bed extension, model number 70900. This was purchased recently to go with my Craftsman Midi Lathe. I had read a positive review on Amazon that indicated that this is actually a compatible bed extension to go with it. In addition to obviously going with the Rikon 7100 lathe. I'm in the process of getting the plans for building a stand for my lathe, but I knew I'd eventually want the lathe extension. And since that seems like it's rather hard to find, the actual Craftsman one, and Rikon is currently in the middle of a color change going from green tools to blue tools. I wasn't sure what that was going to mean in terms of the availability of this. And there was one reviewer on Amazon that indicated this was a positive fit. And so as you open the box here, we got some styrofoam packing on top, and we throw that aside. Then we've got an instruction manual. We'll put that aside here. We've got 2 screws and some washers. And then the last piece here is obviously the lathe stand. So the lathe stand, or the bed extension here, this comes all packaged up here, as you can see, in the protective plastic wrap. We'll get you a little bit of a closer look to see how this comes packaged. We've got our instruction manual and the bolts. And so then we got our instructions here for how do we mount this here to be able to secure the end of the lathe to the end of the stand here. Obviously there's a couple more feet. This was actually a green one. I wasn't sure what color I was going to get from Amazon, if it was going to be green or blue. As it seems right now, it's kind of a potluck for what color of Rikon stuff you're going to get when you order or buy anything. So now as I open up the plastic here, there's a slight whiff, just some machining packing grease from the top of this here. I can see where there's strips on top to protect the cast iron. Sides of this here are painted green. If this fits properly, I intend on painting black to match my lathe. I have no other green power tools in my shop, so I like things being matching and consistent. So piece the plastic out of the way. Let's see how this lines up with the Craftsman lathe. Let me bring that a little bit closer. And so then this would go on the end, just like this. And this looks like this is going to be a perfect fit. So if I take the tailstock of my Craftsman lathe, and I go to slide it, see if I get this squared up right. Take a little bit of just squaring this up to get it right as we get that connection there. Glad my fingers weren't there. Looks like, there we go. If I just get this squared up right here, then I should be able to slide everything back and forth. And then this will be a perfect extension to the Craftsman Midi Lathe to be able to extend the bed. So you can see here, here's the Craftsman lathe. If you look at my other videos, you can see I've still got an issue going on with my feedstock advance here. But now that I've got the tail piece here to be able to extend the bed, let me grab a tape measure here and we'll measure out the dimensions of this here right quick. Okay, so if we look at the bed extension, this bed extension adds on to the bed of the lathe itself about 24.5 inches. The actual extra dimension here, it's about 25 inches long by the time you get the extra dimension here on the outside of the feet. And with this lathe bed extension, if that still wasn't enough distance for you, if we look here on the tail end of this extension here, There's mounting holes where we could add another extension, and presumably we could keep daisy chaining this out as long as we wanted it. So if we needed to make really long spindles, we could just daisy chain out this bed, and as long as we've got a long enough support stand for everything, we could just run our tailstock out as far as we wanted. So I think that's a really neat feature. I'm not going to be taking advantage of that, but I think that's just neat to be able to note because I've not seen that really documented anywhere. Top of the lathe bed here looks like it's machined rather well. There's not a lot of machining marks. There's a little bit of a green paint blip here. I'm going to come back here and put on some black paint so that this matches and ties everything together. But just I'll give you a quick look here at the Rikon bed extension. Coming soon will be the build video on my lathe stand, but I wanted to have this in place so that I could build the stand with the right dimensions to be able to include the extension and the lathe, so I didn't have to worry about building an extension to the bed. An extension to the lathe stand. So I hope you found this enjoyable, and have a great day. Bye.